Do you have a recruiter interview coming up? Do you need some good questions to ask that really make you stand out? Check out this video right now to see what I would ask. Hey, Millionaire Recruiter subscribers. I have launched a podcast because, let's be honest, I don't have enough shit to do. It is called Talent Takeover Unfiltered, here with my work soulmate, Taylor Bradley.
Hi, y'all.
So when it comes to working hard and keeping it real, we know our shit. Self-care, happiness, inner peace, and time. And we thrive in chaos. You like chaos?
Love it. Live for that shit.
So what we did is we turned chaos into an art form. So what do we talk about in the podcast?
We're here to give you a raw, under the hood view of all things recruiting and finally give credit where credit is due to a long underrated industry that's full of experts.
Nice. Well, this sounds like a lot of fun. Now the link is in the description, so I look forward to you listening to the podcast.
Come check us out.
Hey, welcome to the Millionaire Recruiter. I'm Brianna Rooney, your Millionaire Recruiter. If you have not seen this channel before, it's all about upping your game in the recruiting industry. So let's get to it. Okay, so you're stressed, you're preparing for your interview as a recruiter, you're dying to get this job. You really need to make sure that you ask the right questions. So in general, with any type of interview, you want to ask questions. It shows that you're just generally interested in the job. But as a recruiter, if you really want to stand out and you want to act as is, let's just say you haven't been a recruiter before, or maybe you're more junior in your career, there's definitely some questions that you have to ask to make yourself stand out. So first of all, what do you hold your recruiters to? So what standards do they have? What are the KPIs? That is so important. Remember that even though we don't want to say it's a numbers game, it kind of is. Yes, it's very people focused, but there are certain numbers you have to hit in order to get your job. This just is what it is. So you want them to know, look, I'm going to hold myself to a standard. What's your standard? And it really just opens up the door and makes people super impressed that that's on top of your mind. Another thing, and I love this one. I remember someone asked me this, is they said, what does your top performer do that maybe some of your other recruiters don't do? And I actually was like, let me think about that for a second. And I was almost embarrassed that I didn't rattle it off the top of my head, because I didn't think about it all the time. Because when you have your top performers, you're not worried about them. So unfortunately, don't think about them. They're not on top of mind. You're almost thinking about how you can get the others to be top performers, but you don't think the other way around. So that question just hits it home, and it shows what an overachiever you want to be and how hungry you are. Oh, I love that one. Another thing to do is, with that top performer in mind, what is their day-to-day look? What do they do during the day? Like, if I'm going to be there, I'm going to be your top performer. That's my plans. What would I do during the day? What does that look like? What's my morning look like? What's my afternoon look like? What's my weekly look like? It's super important, again, to have that mindset. It's more of a growth mindset. So another great question to ask whoever's interviewing you is, what recruiting tools will I have access to? This is so important for two reasons. One, it shows that you're on top of trends, right? You know there's some cool recruiting tools to be used, but it also shows, hey, how good of a company is this? If they're not using certain tools like LinkedIn Recruiter, like a sequencing tool of some sort, Gem and Covey are my personal favorites. But if they're not using one of those, it's kind of a red flag. If they're not using Crunchbase, for example, you just want to know what you're going to have access to, and you don't want to set yourself up for failure. That's super important. Another thing is, again, you want to show how hungry you are. So what is your career path? What's it going to look like? What's available for me here? So you want to be careful, though, when you ask this question, because you don't want the person on the other side to feel like you want to quickly go into management, or that you expect to be promoted really quickly, because that does scare employers. But what you want to say is, look, I'm here. I'm in it. I want to be with you. I want to make sure that I can be with you for years. So you really want to set the tone there before you ask that question. And then this is one that I've really only been asked a couple times, but I will tell you, respected these people a lot when they ask that, is They said, what does the next 2 years look like at Talent Perch, at Techies, you know? So I was like, huh. Another question I had to be like, what am I gonna tell this person? It's not because I don't know, but it's kind of like, well, look, you're not in my camp yet, so what am I willing to share? However, at the same time, if someone's asking me like how successful the company is gonna be, what direction they're going, man, it is huge. And it again makes me really think they want to be here for a while and they want to be involved and in it. And that excited me. And yes, I hired those 2 people. So, you know, you can research as many different questions, good questions, you know, to ask in interviews, and that's great. But these ones in particular are the ones that if you're interviewing for a recruiter position, you have to ask these questions. And just by asking questions sometimes will let me know or let whoever is interviewing know that they need to hire you, because these questions are awesome and they're on point, and it shows you know what you're doing, you know what you want, and you know where you're going. Super important. Okay, cool. So I hope you enjoyed that. Good luck with your recruiter interview. And again, thank you for so much support. We are so close to hitting 20,000 subscribers. So please join the email list if you want to, you know, stay in the know on what's going on. Remember, Thriversity course is about to launch. So if you want to be the first to know, you want to be the first to know about the videos coming up, definitely join that list for sure. Subscribe. And as a little teaser, I am starting a podcast. I've been asked a lot about it. Finally taking the plunge, and it will launch in May, and it's going to be called Talent Takeover Unfiltered. And the reason why is because I got a lot to say, and I like to be unfiltered. So definitely check that out, and I will see you every Thursday at noon. And don't forget that money is just a vessel to do all the amazing things you want to go do in life. So go do it. See you next week.